So, good day everyone, and welcome to the 22nd Starknet All Core Devs call. We have a packed agenda covering several important updates today, including the VO 13.5 upgrade, client implementations, Cairo native progress, and few more things. So before we dive in, I want to mention that Leo and Ariel from Starkware won't be able to join us today, but they have shared their updates, which I'll present on their behalf. So let's go one by one through our agenda. So the first thing on our agenda is Starknet O 13.5 upgrade status. So I'll share what Leo has given his updates as. So O 13.5 is currently live on Sepolia integration. Testnet upgrade is planned for March 17th. Mainnet, which is currently on O 13.3, will be upgraded to both O 13.4 and O 13.5 on the same day, which is tentatively scheduled for March 24th. There was a sequencer bug on O13.4 testnet that led to some wrong estimation, but this has been resolved. And for O13.5, there includes two key additions, which is the first one is whitelisted list of accounts are now compatible with transactions version 3 and updated pricing of the deploy syscall. Then we can move on to the next point on our agenda, which is client implementation updates. So let's move the client implementation updates and we can give the call to Christian, who could share the latest on Pathfinder's O16.2 release and how you're handling the RPC V8 execution resources.
Um, so we have released Pathfinder 016.2 yesterday, which adds support for Starknet 013.5 and also fixes a couple of JSON RPC problems, plus a bug that might have caused users that Pathfinder wasn't properly updating L1 confirmed state. So all these should be fixed. I'm not quite sure though what you mean by JSON RPC execution resources handling.
No way. So basically, I was asking like what this bug was exactly about. If you can give some details about this thing, so that everyone knows what happened exactly.
Oh, you mean the gateway bug?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what the end user experience was that for very trivial transactions like token transfers, the estimate given by nodes was significantly lower than what was expected by the gateway. So these transactions, depending on the gas prices and whatever, but from time to time, periodically, they were just refused by the gateway. This was very easy to test. It basically just involved transferring some tokens from an account to another. And it turned out that the estimates were correct, but it was the gateway that had a bug, which caused it to overestimate the resources needed to execute the transaction.
Oh,
And that was it. But it has been resolved on the gateway, and I haven't seen these afterwards.
okay. Okay. Thank you, Christian. And we can move on to Rodrigo now. So what's the status of Juno, recent release and the WebSocket implementation?
Yes, with version 14, we give support for 13.5 version of Starknet, so please everyone update. We have all WebSocket implemented and it's all working right. We currently are, perhaps the only thing we are seeing right now is that we're dealing with a bug, which is not deterministic, so we think it's in the talk when with the Rust side of the node when it's talking with the Go side, but we're investigating into it. It's very weird. But on the other hand, everything is very good.
And do you have a plan in place? Like how would you be able to find this bug? Like because as you said, it is
We already We already are investigating it, but it's a bit weird because it sometimes appears and sometimes it doesn't. It is not frequent. It's just like it appears and then why it happened and then it doesn't appear again. And like, oh, it's not is the weird things of programming. Like it's like I could get into detail, but then it will get too long. So
Right. So if it's working, just don't touch it, right?
I think it will be it will be solved quickly, and as soon as it's solved, we have a hotfix out.
Okay. So after Rodrigo, we can go to Nathan, and if you can update what is happening at KSL Labs approach to the SNOS versioning constraints.
Yeah, so we had this problem with Blockifier because Snows is not updating his version of Blockifier, and we need Snows for app chains. So our goal right now is we are deploying currently Quadza, our agentic L3 end-to-end. We will deploy it on 0.13.3 first and try to see if we can update Blockifier to the latest version and run it with Snows, since we believe we can still produce blocks that can be sent to Snows, so we can still have full node support and keep in par with the core. This is something that we really want to at Casa Labs. So we will update. We will try to run the end-to-end test, the end-to-end flow of app chains, and see if we can update that. What we can say now is that we have a branch still with the latest version of the core, and this branch is able to produce blocks correctly and sync them. So we are up to date.
And do you have a timeline in mind by when this end-to-end testing can be completed?
So deploying our chain as an L3 on 0.13.3, this should happen before the end of the month. And for 0.13.4, we have no idea yet. We need to test it out, but we will make sure to make the right announcement whenever it's tested.
Thank you, Nathan. And then we can move on to the third point on our agenda, which is Cairo native progress. And Ariel was supposed to give it, but since he's not present, I'll read his updates. So native OAuth 3.4 refactors both arrays and dictionary handling, and it's currently in the process of replay testing. And if there are no new findings, then the plan is to enable it on testnet for all contracts. And this is what his update says. And then we can move on to RPC compatibility challenges on the agenda. So the RPC compatibility challenges, if either of Rodrigo or Ryan could you discuss the handling of the steps field in the execution resources between RPC 7 and V8, and your thoughts on the default endpoint strategy.
RPC version 6 and 7 requires a non-zero steps. This steps is no longer present in RPC version 8, and Blockifier no longer returns it. So by default, we just return a 0 value, which technically isn't allowed by the spec. It's not clear what the clients can do here. It either requires an update from the, for example, I believe this. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, go on.
I think this is the case across Juno and Pathfinder, I believe. But yeah.
Yes, that is the case.
And could you also address the L1 status update recovery issue that occurred after the Ethereum Sepolia Pectra hard fork?
I wasn't tracking this, Rodrigo, were you?
Could you repeat, Harsh?
So